And joining us now is the woman behind the story, athlete turned filmmaker, Fatma Al-Ghanem. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
This is such a powerful, powerful film. So first and foremost, congratulations. I imagine this was not very easy to make. It's called Theater of Dreams, and it's inspired by your own experience. What made you want to tell this film in this specific way?
Yeah, well, I've always wanted to make a film. I've always, loved storytelling. Never really thought of myself as a filmmaker because I didn't study film. But when the FIFA Qatar 2022 World Cup came around, I started to notice there was like a missing piece of this legacy, which was the women's team. And having been a part of it, when the city started to get dressed and we're, celebrating the world's biggest soccer event coming to our country, I started to remember, how difficult it was to go through the journey, how much soccer meant to me, because obviously my relationship with the game changed after I stopped playing. But yeah, I just thought, if I'm wondering where the story is, I should probably speak up and make it.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And you are an athlete. How many years did you play?
I played till I was like 28. Yeah.
Which was yesterday, because you look like you're 17.
We don't need to mention my age. Yeah, I am 17. Yeah.
Me too. We talk a lot about women's sports in this country, and we know how challenging it is to just get equal footing, pun not intending. What was it like for you in your country to fight not just the challenges of being an athlete, but then bringing that to life? I have to imagine there were a lot of guardrails in place.
There were, but at that time I was really naive to them. I grew up being inspired by the U.S. women's national team, the 1999 team.
I was going to say the 99.
Yeah, Mia Hamm. I'm a huge Mia Hamm fan. Julie Foudy, Brandy Chastain. There's a little cameo for, a little shout out in the film for them.
Excellent.
There's a little poster in my locker in the film as a tribute, because I was inspired I really wanted to become a professional soccer player. That was my dream. I never really thought I would play for my country, because at the time growing up, we didn't have a Qatar women's national team. And the opportunity opened up thanks to the build up to the Qatar 2022 World Cup. We were putting together a campaign for the World Cup, and there was a lot of momentum to support the growth of the game at the time across the board, for kids, for women, for men, and that's how the opportunity came up to establish the first national team. And the first thought I had in my head when they said, do you want to play in the national team, was like, I get to be the Mia Hamm of Qatar. And I was like, that's literally, because they're like, they said, would you like to form the first women's team, the Qatar Football Association, the Qatar Women's Committee, Women's Sports Committee, the Qatar Olympic Committee, and they were all behind us.
They were all behind, and you just said, I'm going to be the Mia Hamm.
And I was like, absolutely, yeah, of course.
What was it like making this film? It's your directorial debut. I have to suspect that being an athlete prepares you to be a director. What position were you?
I was a midfielder, but sometimes a striker.
Perfect, perfect. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, midfielder is very, very adjacent to being a producer in many ways.
That's right.
And I did co-produce this film. Absolutely, like that mindset you get as an athlete, that you're going to push through any boundary, is very much needed in independent filmmaking, because there's a lot that you can plan for. It requires you to have a vision, communicate it, have the ability to bring people together, get them to be on the same page, and then get them to give their all where you have very little resources, or limited. I wouldn't say very little, but I would say very limited. Yeah. So I thought that playing team sports was the most difficult, and most challenging way to build a team. Yeah. But it's actually filmmaking, because you can do everything right, and then on the day, if not everyone's on the same page and everyone's on top of the game, you don't. And thankfully, I had the team that got me here, and they were all on their game. And the film is now in Tribeca, so I have to thank them, all of them. Yeah. Shout out to Theater of Dreams team.
And also, unbeknownst to us, there was a soccer match for all the folks who have made films.
Yes, so it's a tradition at Tribeca. The vice president of short film programming, Ben Thompson, is a huge soccer fan, and I think he's the one that started this tradition. Yeah. So every year at Tribeca,
you had a match, and you played, and
I scored.
And she scored.
I scored. Scored and assisted a goal, yeah. So I still have it.
Listen, I'm sure you've heard of the adage, everyone watches women's sports.
Absolutely.
And that includes you, my friend.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for doing the film, for shining a light on women's sports, and for telling your story, because it's really, really compelling one.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
You at home, go see Theater of Dreams this Saturday at Spring Studios in Soho. And to learn more, go to TribecaFilm.com.